How's it going? My name is Chris.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is the Fleet Brothers Podcast, episode 2. And today we're going to be talking all about how Aaron, my little brother, got started on Turo. So I guess where should we begin? I guess maybe how did you even find out what Turo was?
Yeah, good question. I guess that's probably the place to begin once it actually was a thought in my brain, Basically, I was working at Ford Motor Company way back. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I was back in college.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. So that was actually one of my first internships. Was in Detroit at Ford Motor Company. It was my first big boy job, and while I was there, they obviously have all these intern projects. One of the projects was, hey, go do your own research on a group of teams and find out what's the future of the car industry. And so my team came up with this crazy idea where we were going to do Airbnb for cars.
Literally Turo.
Literally Turo. And so that kind of got me thinking about it. I was like, wait, this would be really cool. Everybody owns cars and cars don't get used. Cars sit in driveways all the time. 90% of the cars aren't even being driven every day. So I'm sure I have a lot more stats on it because that's what my whole project was. But that kind of got me to the point where I was thinking about Turo because that was one of our big competitors. Our as if we actually made the thing. But Turo was going to be one of our big competitors, and they kind of did everything that I thought should be done. And so that got me thinking about it. Now, it wasn't until my job at ADP that I decided to actually jump the gun and do it. And
I guess why did you decide to jump the gun and do it? Because obviously a lot of people, for me, I always have real estate. It took me years, probably 5 years, from graduating college, hunting for deals, and just never pulling the trigger. So what made you pull the trigger so quickly into your professional career?
Yeah, good question. Because a lot of people just don't jump the gun. A lot of people be asking me, "Hey, Aaron, what is this Turo stuff? What are you doing?" And I was like, you have to do it. Just do it. And people
just
don't,
jump in. Jump in.
Yeah, people don't do it, and I can only push so far. I'm not gonna sell them on Turo. I'm not it doesn't matter to me, but you should do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's situation based. So my situation was I didn't have a car, and I wanted a car, and I had just had a car break down on me while I was on a trip in Aspen, sleeping in my car, and it was the worst experience ever. And so I never again wanted to have a bad car because I just bought a lemon off of Facebook and decided that I was done with buying junk cars, but I wasn't ready to make a big purchase. So
fair.
Yeah. And so basically I was thinking, all right, what is a way for me to own a car, a really nice car, without having to pay for it, which is kind of an out there idea, but I'm super cheap. We were raised super cheap. So
Yes, we were.
kind of how we think, which is good and bad. But I had obviously heard about this Turo stuff and had a few people that I knew renting cars on Turo. And so one guy who I actually ended up reaching out to, I was connected to by a colleague of mine. His name was DJ, and I reached out to DJ. He had never heard of me, knew about me or anything, but was super cool and helped me out with the whole process. I probably talked to him for 3 hours a week, at least.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It also shows you the importance of networking and getting to know other people and what their side hustles are and what they do to make money and just who they are as people, because you probably would have never done Turo if it wasn't for meeting DJ. Literally just would have never even been something that crossed your mind, because I was doing real estate at the time. I'd never heard of Turo, and I feel I'm pretty hip to a lot of the new investment opportunities out there. And I remember you talking to me about it, and I was like, Turo, I've literally never heard of that word in my entire life, let alone know how to make money off of it. So that's awesome.
Because it was originally just this small idea where I talked to one of my colleagues, like, hey, I think I'm going to do Turo, like I'm thinking about this thing. And he's like, oh, I have somebody for you to talk to. And he got me in touch with DJ. So DJ would talk to me all the time and be like, hey, this is what I did. Send me any questions you have. And I pounded him with questions.
As you should.
Every single thing, every single piece of advice, which I should reach out to DJ and be like, hey, look at what I'm doing
100%.
now. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Also goes to show you that, like, I have people that reach out to me all the time about real estate and now also about Turo, and people reach out to you all the time about Turo. Like, people are more than happy to share their information with people. You just have to be willing to ask and don't be, like, shy or embarrassed to ask somebody a question like, hey, I saw you doing this. People wouldn't be posting what they're doing on Instagram if they don't want to brag about it and talk about it to people. So it's sick that you were just pestering with questions, just getting all the information you could.
It was awesome. I mean, just like you're saying, entrepreneurship is a lonely adventure. You know, when you're working at a 9 to 5, you have a whole team of people that are like, hey, how'd the day go? Like, especially in a sales job.
100%.
Especially in a sales job. Like, let's get our numbers for the day. Like, how'd everybody do? In entrepreneurship, it's just you, and you just did something badass, and you share it with, like, at this point, my brother, and maybe the rest of our family sometimes.
Like, if I'm really proud of something, I'll, like, post it on the Instagram story, and, like, that's about it. I'll literally tell my fiance, you, and maybe share it on social media. And I'm only doing that now because we're supposed to build our brand and make it just easier to market what we're doing. But pre-doing this, I have purchased what I'm up to. I think I'm at 7 units right now, 3 properties, 7 units, and I've made 0 posts about it.
And that was just your own little grind.
That was just me doing my thing. Literally nobody knew what I was doing. And if I ever met somebody at the bar that wanted to talk real estate, I would literally talk their ear off because I had nobody to talk to about what I was doing. So definitely don't be shy in asking people's questions, because like people want to talk about what they're doing. They're happy to share. Like, I'll give away all my secrets to people because most people are too lazy or too scared to like actually go out and do this. I'm not scared of losing out to my competition. Like, I'd rather lose out to my friend that's my competition than just some rando that I've never met or somebody in another country. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, always ask questions.
And I don't think it's not losing out, because think about it. If you're helping this random person, someone off of Instagram, just curate their whole business, they're gonna reach back out to you if they're successful, and they're gonna say, hey, I have this opportunity. Like, thank you so much for helping me previously. Let's 100%. Do this together.
And like ever since I've started like posting more, like people reach out to me with business opportunities. Literally, people like reach out. I had somebody just the other day call me just begging to give me money for like my next investment opportunity. Like, I'm not ready for that yet, but like I appreciate it. So like definitely putting yourself out there, letting people see what you're doing is huge. And as you're saying, if we help somebody, like if I helped a friend like land a Turo car, land a new like investment property, I'm gonna be able to watch what they do and learn from what they did that didn't go too well, or things that they're probably doing better than me that I just never thought about or never learned how to do or research how to do. So hell yeah, spread the wealth.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, DJ, thank you.
Shout out to DJ.
Especially for sidetracking us there. So he kind of helped me through everything. With his help, I kind of put together a whole car analysis of what would do well in the Denver market. And so he gave me like a few metrics that I wouldn't have thought about. He was like, hey, look at the reviews, see how many reviews were left, and see like the dates of the reviews. And then a certain amount of percent will leave a review, and that way you can figure out how much the car is actually being used. And so that way I was able to put together like this whole elaborate analysis that we still use today.
Yeah, we still use like a big portion of that today when buying investment property cars.
And what I will say is this whole process of first talking to him and then researching cars and researching the market and trying to figure out what was going to be the best, it was like 3 months. Like I was just super slow. Like right now, if we wanted to put a car on Turo and make the same amount of money as my first car, we do this in a week. You know,
like an afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
And do it better than I did before.
A lot better. Yeah. You spent a lot of money on that baby. That was your baby for like a half second.
Yes. And so anyway, figure out, okay, in Denver, the best car and most profitable car is a Jeep Wrangler. Not much of a surprise there, but that's kind of how I made the decision, just because we crunched all the numbers. Jeep Wrangler stood out, and I liked the look of a Jeep Wrangler. I was like, I'll look cool in a Jeep, let's do this. And so start shopping around online, and decided to jump in on a like $40,000 Jeep Wrangler, which was cool because it's a dope car.
It is a very badass looking Jeep.
It's badass. It turns heads. And so that was my first car on Turo. And looking back at it, I would have probably gotten a cheaper Jeep, or just not a Jeep at all. They're not reliable and you have to deal with maintenance. And so I've lost out on earnings because they're in the shop.
Yeah, something we didn't think about you didn't think about rather, when you were first getting your car is we weren't really factoring in, or I don't think you were factoring in like depreciation and like repairs and maintenance. Were things that, because if you look on paper, like from like pulling up like all the stats and just running our whole analysis on all the cars in Denver, the Wrangler, as you're saying, is on paper. Like return on investment, if it was never in the shop, is one of the most profitable cars in Denver. The problem is it's a Jeep.
The problem is it's a Jeep. And anybody walking down the street, you could be like, hey, what do you hear about Jeeps? Oh, they're sick, but they break down. They're unreliable.
They're not reliable cars.
So I have a Jeep. About a month into having the Jeep, I was like, this is sick. Turo's cool. I'm making money. Let me buy another car. And because I think the reasoning behind that was because the Jeep hadn't hit my credit yet. And I knew for a fact that once I had that hit my credit, I wasn't going to get a new car anytime soon. And I was like, okay, I better do this now, or else I'm not going to have another car. And so I just jumped into it. I had 2 cars within a month. And then got to figure out the whole, starting up and customer service and deliveries and finding people to partner with for maintenance and repairs and all that stuff. So,
now, do you remember the first time you got a booking on Turo?
Yes. First time was crazy. And so first time I think I made $1,300. That was my first ever booking.
Sick.
It was a $1,300 trip. A lot of people don't make $1,300 off of a whole month.
Yeah, I mean, we just met with, it'll be coming out soon, but we just met with a pretty famous YouTuber, and I think his biggest month he's ever had was like $800. So your very first booking being a $1,300 booking, no wonder you were hooked.
I was hooked. I was hooked from day one. Because, it comes through. His name's Jose. Really nice guy. Jose, you're welcome back anytime. And so, he booked the car just as soon as I put it up. And I was like, this is so cool. I just paid off the car payment for 2 months off of one booking.
Insane.
Insane.
It's crazy how like short-term renting, like anything, like whether it's freaking cars, houses, or paddle boards or jet skis, you can make so much money so quickly because of how expensive those like daily or nightly rates can be. So making $1,300 off of, I mean, what were your car payments, or what are your car payments on the Jeep right now?
So car payments are high because it was an expensive Jeep, but it's at like $700 a month. It's a 6-year term. So it's definitely very expensive. But I will say I wouldn't trade it for anything because it got us to where we are today. If we didn't have that Jeep, if I didn't buy that Jeep, we would have never started this company, and we would never have been helping other people generate passive income. And so thank God I did it and wasn't talked out of it. So I still wouldn't take it back for anything, but I'll probably sell it at some point soon. Even though it does pretty well on Turo still, but it's just it's a ticking time bomb. I'm
Yeah.
always like, okay, when's this thing gonna break down? What am I gonna have to fix next?
Yep.
The other cars we deal with just don't have that issue.
It's funny how quickly we learned the lesson of buying reliable cars that don't depreciate in value, and how much easier that has made the entire business.
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, if it's broken down, we can't rent it out, and we have to cancel those trips, and it's a whole headache. And you have to deal with the customer. It's like a whole big ordeal. So having a reliable car, because some of the most profitable cars, if you're just strictly running the numbers, are like random. I don't want to rip on any car companies, but like they're like Kias, and there's like a Fiat that's killing it right now because it's just a cheap car. Hyundai, like there's a bunch of cars that are not reliable, but are super cheap, and you can rent out for a pretty decent nightly rate. But in the long term, hence the YouTuber that we just had on bought a cheap, unreliable car and has been making no money off of it. And not even because he's not renting it out all the time, it's just because he has to take it off the platform to get it fixed. Literally like monthly, which sucks. All right, so let's break down your first Turo purchase. I think it'd be kind of fun. So I'm just gonna go through like all the numbers real quick. So first car was Jeep Wrangler. What did you put down on it?
Down payment $0, which was cool.
Hell yeah.
Which was cool because for 3 months you don't have to pay a single dollar towards the car. So
you want to explain how that works?
Yeah. So basically, if you're buying a car at a dealership, or this also works private party, but it's a little bit more of a headache because you have to have that agreement with the seller of the car private. It does work. Like there's ways to do it, and we have done it. But at a dealership, you walk in the door, they say, hey, you want this car? You say yes, and they run your credit with a bunch of different lenders, and then come back with the person with the best rates. And ideally, you're gonna have somebody that says, okay, you can have this car, 0% down, and you just owe us a bunch of money. And so they're making money on interest. So they're making a ton of money on, like, I think my rate was 5%.
That's my next question.
5%?
5%? Okay.
Yeah, I actually had mom cosign.
There you go.
Yeah, so I had mom cosign, which helped a lot. And I wouldn't have had that. I would have had like a 13%.
Also,
rate.
wait, question for you. How long were you into your professional career? Like, and when I say professional career, like working a 9 to 5. Like
how
a
full-time job.
How many years were you working your 9 to 5?
I just started.
Yes.
Just started.
How many months into your career do you think you were?
Well, I was sick of it, so it was probably like a month or 2. So, yeah, probably like 2 months into my full-time career, I was like, dang, I need something else.
I already need to get the freak out of this.
Let's get out of here. And so, obviously, have not good credit because I'm basically a college kid. And then, go into have not good credit, basically a college kid. And then I'm going to this bank and I'm saying, hey, I want a car. Can you give me $40,000 for it? You know? And so basically the deal I got is you have, 0% down because thank you, Mom. She she helped out by co-signing. And for 3 months, I didn't have to pay $1 towards the car. So that's just how the term was. It was 3 months, you don't pay $1. In those 3 months, I made $6,000.
Crazy.
Literally
3 months, $6K, and didn't pay a penny towards the car. Bananas. Sick. So, all right, first month, do you remember roughly what you made in the first month of renting it out?
I think I ended up, I don't remember exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure the first month I made over 2,000.
Okay.
And then same with second month.
Sick.
And then third month was just under 2,000.
That's insane. So I guess real quick, like just to break it down. So literally $0 down, $0 down on a car, months into a new profession, you were able to put $0 down and turn that into, how much does that car cash flow you a month right now?
Cash flows me about $800 a month.
There you go. That's insane. So literally, like in it's something that isn't really talked about a lot in. I mean, also the rental car space is brand spanking new thanks to Turo. Like, it is taking off like a rocket ship right now. But in the real estate, kind of where my background is, everyone is always like raving about like, yo, I'm gonna get like a $0 down, or like, like I'm gonna end up paying no money, like tenants are gonna pay for it all. And there's like a bunch of really complicated, really creative ways that you can get an investment property with $0 down. And we could obviously talk about that another day, but or you could start a Turo company and be profiting $800 a month, which, keep in mind, like for two of my properties, I'm cash flowing less than $800 a month on the properties. And those, instead of putting $0 down, I'm putting tens of thousands of dollars down and tens of thousands of dollars into renovations. Whereas you can put $0 down, you walk into any dealership, and it's a very common loan. Like, it's not something overly complicated, and it's something that normally I would probably advise against if you were like somebody trying to purchase a car just like for yourself. There's pros and cons to doing it that way, and also car debt historically has been a debt that you don't want to have on your record. But now with Turo, you can just be leveraging your money just as you would be with buying a rental property, but you could be doing it with a car, which is going to be profiting you $800 a month, cash flowing you $800 a month, whereas in like some of the best real estate deals you can find don't profit you even any money. Like in Northern Virginia, like where I was living before doing, Turo and Airbnb and all that stuff, Northern Virginia realtors would be like, oh yeah, like this is like a net worth play. Like, you're not going to actually like cash flow anything. You're just buying this like to hold it. Whereas with Turo, you can literally get a $0 down deal that will be cash flowing you around $800 a month.
Yep.
And that can be done in a span of, how long did it take you? That's a good question. How long did it take you from walking into the dealership, signing on the dotted line, to making your first $1,300 trip?
Probably a week.
Probably a week. That's
insane.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And it's like the fact that anybody with okay credit or with a cosigner could walk into a dealership and just be like, okay, I want that car. I'm going to make a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sick. And now, was that a new car or a used car?
So it was used. It's a 2014 Jeep Wrangler.
Okay.
But pretty kitted out with a lot of upgrades, and it's got a black exterior, tan interior. And that's kind of the reason it took so long, was because I was just like, I really want a car with a black exterior, tan interior Jeep Wrangler. Because I think I saw one on Instagram or something stupid.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, this thing's sick. And I just had like an emotional attachment to finding a Jeep Wrangler with black exterior, tan interior, like leather tan.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely advise against the emotional purchase.
100%.
Definitely. Although, then again, it is fun. There is, depending on your goals with Turo, right? Like, if you say, I just want a cool car and I don't want to pay for it, that's like one side of Turo. The other side of Turo is, I want to make an investment in a vehicle and I just don't care what the car is.
Yeah.
So if you want something cool, then fair enough. Go get your cool car and it will be a free car. Yeah. Not a free car, but you'll be making,
out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Will literally never be a dime.
Yes.
And it's cool because, as you're saying, we have investors that we work with where some of them, I would say 90% of them, are doing it as a strict investment. I don't care if it's a freaking Prius. I don't care if it's a Tesla Model Y. Like, I don't care what the car is, as long as it's making me money each month and I don't have to deal with, like, I literally don't have to lift a finger and just send money into my bank account, I'm happy. It's probably about 90% that we work with. On the other hand, there are that small 10% we probably won't be working with anymore moving forward, because it's a little bit more of a headache because they're not looking at the bottom line. But there are some investors that we work with that are just like, I've always wanted a 4Runner.
Yeah.
Like, that's my dream car. I think it's badass.
Yeah.
Give me a 4Runner for free, and they'll give it to us. We'll manage it for 2 years or however long it takes for the whole car to be completely paid off. And then we throw them the keys, and now they have a literally completely free dream car.
And some that are lucky enough to be living in the same city as us doing our operations will take advantage of their situation and be like, hey, I'm going to book off the car for this weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like we let it happen. It's not no sweat off our back. But but yeah, there's definitely the situation for somebody to be like, I just want a cool car. And for that person, I would definitely recommend just start your own Turo company.
Yeah,
your own Turo company.
You don't need us. Like, I mean, obviously, we're really freaking good, and we'll get it up and running. We'll make a lot of money for you, and you won't do anything.
Yeah.
But if your goal is just to drive your dream car, like, also, why would you want us to have it when we're gonna obviously be, like, you won't have it anymore because it'll be rented out.
Yeah.
29 out of the 30 days of the month. And so, I mean, you could do it yourself. You could literally block off every single weekend. And we have friends and, different people that we know that literally do that, where they're like, I've always wanted a Tesla.
Yeah.
Buy a Tesla. I mean, I'm actually going to be doing that here soon. Yeah. I've been on the waiting list for like 2 years for the freaking Tesla Cybertruck.
That's going to be so cool.
You better believe it. Whenever that thing finally comes out, I will be having that thing paid for by Turo. Thank you very much.
Rent it out half the month.
Half the month gone.
You probably make $300 a day off of a Cybertruck. Easy.
Oh my God! Especially when it first comes out, that thing is going to kill.
Yeah.
But so rent it half the month out, half the month. That's my baby, and I'm driving around and not fitting in the parking spaces.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I guess moral of the story, moral of the podcast is for literally $0 down, you can have an investment that is, netting you, maybe not $800 a month like an Aaron situation, but definitely profiting you money where it takes a lot of years, a lot of skill, and a lot of capital to be able to figure that out in like real estate and other investment opportunities. It is a pretty cool space right now that we're in with rental cars and with Turo that you can do that. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Cool. Well, I guess that's really all we have for you guys here today. Again, my name is Chris.
And I'm Aaron.
And this has been the Fleet Brothers Podcast.